हेलो हेलो हेलो। अभी आ रहा है राज? बात करना उससे। अरे इधर ही खड़ा रहे। आवाज आ रहा है उसको बोल, पूछ उसको। Hi everybody, this is Dhananjay here. I hope now everybody can hear us out. This is Dhananjay here and I'm here. नहीं आ रहा, पूछ उसको फिर। तो आता नहीं है, उधर ही बैठा है। We are just going to start the webinar now. I am a bit sorry for just being late at the moment, and because people were joining in at the moment. Now we started up from this, and this is basically for MBA in webinar. A webinar is for MBA in Germany, and everybody is thinking, why Germany? US, Canada, there are so many other countries that is on top of everybody's mind. But then there are a lot of advantages that we have for Germany, which people have overseen for years now. And as an Indian, I know that everybody is wishing to basically go for the English speaking countries and not go to a European country wherein one of the languages that needs to be learned is a major barrier in our minds. However, we all know when we walk across the roads, most of the cars, many of the products, many of the pharmaceutical companies, many of the tour operators, they are all owned by Germans. There's something special about German people who have been instrumental in building the biggest brands in this world at this moment. So what we are trying to do is, in the next 45 minutes, we are simply going to talk about Germany, learning MBA in Germany, and how you could set up a career in Germany. So let's start over here. As it is, we are learning a bit late now. I'm Dhananjay, and you can see my very brief profile over there. Actually, I'm going to be joined by one of the junior manager from the university in Germany. It's very early in Germany at the moment, so he'll be joining it another 15 to 20 minutes and attend to all your question and answer session. Okay, he's specially joining in for that. It's a Saturday. Generally, the Germans won't work on a weekend, but he has agreed to come with us and answer all your questions. Basically, your voice has been muted at the moment, and whenever you have a question, you can use the chat mode, and immediately he will come to know. I will be helping you to pass on your questions. You'll be able to hear the answers from him. He is Mr. Dominic. He will be joining us in another 15 to 20 minutes from Germany. So here I start. I'm Dhananjay, as I told you. Basically, why Germany? As I told you, apart from the English speaking countries offering easy getaway for all of us, the MBA in Germany is definitely going to be a good option because of the strongest economy of the Europe. Currently, the major problem is the employment in the right segment for most of the countries right now, but Germany does not face this problem. As you can easily search it on the internet, one of the fastest growing European country is Germany at the moment, since many years now. They are not confined to Germany because they are there in almost 200 countries across the world. Their products are available across the world. Within Germany itself, because of the growth in the economy constantly for the last 15 years, large employment opportunities are there. If you study in Germany, you get 18 months of work search visa after you finish your studies. It means that you can stay back in Germany, find a work, stay back. Though it is not mentioned on the sheet over here, I can tell you that if you happen to work there for 3 more years, definitely you are eligible for a European blue card. So Germany has a very clear cut policy for immigration, unlike other European countries. In order to take care of your living costs, you have this 20 hours of per week of part-time work permit. This is the only country in Europe which has dual education system. Every degree has a part of mandatory internship. You have to be a practical person. By the time you graduate, you must have an experience in your field in order to get the job. So the academic and the industry, both of them have been combined to make an education system. There is always an advisory panel on board of every university, and that panel is made of industry. Over here in IUBH also we'll see few of the biggest companies of the world are on advisory board. Okay, mainly Germany is known for these areas: engineering, management and science. Earlier, maybe around 5 to 10 years back, most of the education in Germany was in German language. But now, many English taught programs, especially in MBA and few in engineering, are now available. And this is something which you may not believe. The fee structure is almost matching with the good business school, ranked business school in India. So actually, it is highly cost effective, and whenever you are looking to upgrade your career into the global arena, the launchpad could be Germany because of the costs. In general, if you see this, English speaking countries would have a budget, or you should have a budget of 35 plus, 30 to 40, something like that. You must have gone through that probably. Here, the fee structure, as we will see it later, is hardly 4 lakh rupees per semester, and you only need to do, you have a choice of doing 2 semester or a 3 semester program. Okay, so the costs are like, for example, in India, in Mumbai, Wellinger College, which is quite popular here, average it costs you 15 lakh rupees. To study in Germany is also going to cost you the same amount. So there are of course differences. It is becoming the fastest growing education destination in Europe right now. The economy is quite stagnated in the English speaking countries like US and Canada. This is the disadvantage, but it can become a big asset if in case you just try to overcome this barrier. The cost is almost half of USA, almost equivalent to Indian costs, and it helps you to think global. This is probably one of the best niche segment MBA option that you can have. Of course, you must, Germany is not so well known for Indians. I've just jotted down what I understand Germany as. The people are extremely serious and professional in nature. They are very time bound, you know, always on time. I mean, if you're late, then they don't care. They would be off if you're late by 5 minutes. Generally, they come 10 minutes before the sessions, before the meetings. Precision and accuracy, as we all know, that is the, like kind of products that they come out. They are very adamant in bringing the perfection in everything that they do. They don't want anything, half-hearted, nothing by the way. They all the way. So they do it perfect, or else don't do it. You need to learn German language. You can learn it at the same campus as you're learning your master's or MBA. Okay, and they don't charge you much actually. They'll charge you lesser than what you would spend in India. Okay, so Many people think Germany tuition free conditions, but then you have to pay quite high to learn the language in an intensive manner. And they teach you within 36 weeks or 48 weeks. Here you have 2 years to learn the language. You can learn at your own pace without much pressure because the entire program is in English. You are learning German as an additional language asset. Okay. Now, before I move forward, this particular section was to be taken care by Mr. Dominic. He would soon be joining us. By the time he joins us, I will just try to explain you and move forward and inform you when he joins us basically. He is supposed to take care of majorly of your question and answer session. Basically, IUBH is the university where we propose to, you know, place you. As you can see it on the screen, 60% are Germans and 40% are international students from 80 countries. So it's basically a global university where students from across the world join in and do MBA. The entry level requirements for MBA, as you can see, you should have a bachelor plus IELTS and plus the work certificate. Okay. Mandatory 2 years work certificate is required. Now you have two choices for doing masters. Here you will get a master's degree. Here you will get an MBA degree. This is slightly lesser in terms of the credits that you get here. But for both the programs, you need to have minimum 2 years of experience. As you can see it, it's actually most of the people in India who have tried for through CAT and SNAP and all, those who could not get in India in the topmost university, but they still want to attain the same professional level and the the salary scales. Probably this could be a better option for you in case you couldn't make it to IIM or and it's business school of your choice. There are various specializations. In Germany, the system happens to be like, for example, if you are in healthcare or hospitality, then in that case, the industry from this particular segment has to be on the advisory board. So on IUBH, Lufthansa is on board, so they can start aviation because the program will have, for example, this is 3 semester, 1 semester has to be an internship. It can be paid, it can be unpaid because the industry will decide at what level you have passed out. What is your experience level? What has been your bachelor level, academics. So based on that, you will be offered a paid or a non-paid internship. I hope it's pretty clear to you. This is again, as you can see, why Germany happens to be such a strong country in spite of their population not growing at all. The prosperity, of course, everybody knows it's quite a rich country. Full employment for graduates. It's all driven by strong exports. The brands like Mercedes and BMW, they are, just going. Many, Pfizer in pharmaceutical, Lufthansa or SAP in IT, they're all Germans. Or you might have heard about Kuehne Travels, the largest tour travel operator in the world. That's also German. So in short, wherever, in whichever field they have grown into, they have basically became global market leader. So if you happen to be there, it's not only learning to be a global leader, but also having a quality life, because it's a vast country with very less population. The life can, the life is superb in Germany. As far as IUBH is concerned, its history has been quite successful over a period of time. Moksh has been associated for IUBH for quite some time now, and they have seen quite a good success ratios for the students, Indian students joining this particular university. It has 5-star CEG. It has the first university to be awarded 5 FIPM. It has extremely practicality. The past alumni is tremendous. I mean, everybody has grown quite well. They have been groomed to become global leaders. They have not been groomed to become a local one. I just heard that Mr. Dominic has joined us now. Mr. Dominic, can you hear us out?
I can hear you very well, thank you.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Dominic, if you want, then you can go ahead from here, or you would like to take the question and answer session from the students.
I think I will join for the answer session. You're doing a really good job.
Thank you, Mr. Dominic. So here it is, the tuition fees. Let's not understand only the tuition fees. We must also understand the living cost in Germany. That's where the whole, the equations will slightly in your mind start tilting. But let's understand it fully, okay? This is a 90 credit hour, 3 semester. It costs you around 4.5 lakh rupees approximately. I mean, you can convert it by multiplying by 75 per euro. So if I do that now, it works to around 4,80,000 as on date, not 4,50,000. At the current rate, it is 4,80,000. And there are 3 semesters. You can choose to have even 2 semesters. Then this is going to be the total fees. Add on to that, there are enrollment fees, then there are, campus card, as you can read it on your screen, student service card, only for Berlin campus. As I told you, IUBH has multiple campuses across Germany. You have it in the east, which is in Berlin, you have it in west, and probably in the south as well. So as you can see, generally the living cost could be considered, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Dominic, around 650 euros per month, and that's how the government of Germany has made it mandatory to deposit 8,040 euros in your account as a blocked account before you are issued the visa. So the amount required for the first year needs to be deposited in your account. Okay. After that, of course, you will be learning German language over there. Once you start learning German language, you have this 20 hour of work permit to work on part-time or on the weekend, on campus, off campus. You can earn that back, and there is a good opportunity to get mingle around with the people. If you work, you'll make a good network among German people, and that's what you are required to do actually to get a better job ultimately at the end of the day. And not only that, it will help you to survive. So if you actually total, it's around 1 year program is going to cost you around 9 lakh rupees, or 2 year program is going to cost you around 13 lakh rupees, 13.5 lakh rupees, or 14 lakh rupees, let's say, if you convert it into at 75. Now 14 lakhs plus the living cost, assuming that you are working part-time, then the cost will definitely come down on the living cost. Otherwise, you should have a budget of 20 in order to go to US, Canada. You know, definitely you're going to spend almost double, like kind of good as if you choose to go to a university at the same caliber of IUBH, you'd be spending more than 35, that's for sure. So here, you know, if you go to a very low, let's understand now what you gain at the end of the day. If you do something in India, let's say uh, good business school in a particular local city, it's going to cost you around 10 to 15 lakh rupees totally. The average payout, the average salary packet that is offered from that university, these universities range from 10 lakhs to 12 lakhs. I'm not talking about IIMs because that's something different. You wouldn't be on IUBH seminar, webinar if you were in IIM right now. So assuming that you are looking for a good quality education for your MBA, not the lower bottom part of Indian MBA schools which are closing down at the moment, they would cost you somewhere around 4 to 8 lakh rupees. Please don't compare IUBH with that. So in that case, the salary is out is around average salary is around 10 lakhs, while in IUBH, if you're studying, naturally you'll be paid in euros if you get the employment in Germany. And I believe approximately the average payout would be around 40,000 euros to 60,000 euros on the minimum scale. 40,000 euros is around 30 lakh rupees a year, which is as good as you're getting a salary out from IIMs in India. So this is another way to upgrade your career, not only in terms of designations, in terms of salary out packages, or in terms of going or thinking global instead of local. So this is what we feel is the most attractive part of IUBH. The the input is not very high while the output is quite high with the kind of country that we are talking about. It's not Spain or it's not Italy or it's not Portugal where you actually will struggle, or it's not the eastern part like Lithuania or Latvia where the cost would be less but the salaries will be less. Here is the other way. The cost is quite less but the salary out is quite high because you are in Germany. I hope you understand. This is a very lengthy process. As I told you, Germans are extremely meticulous about each and every small detail. So as you can see it on your screen, it's a lengthy process. So anybody wanting to go in the month of September, they are already, you need to be very quick if for September, or of course you have the next session in March. Okay, now I'm going to run through quickly because I want Dominic to take over from me. This is the IUBH corporate network which is available here. As you can see, there are few of the topmost companies in the world with which IUBH is connected. Many of them are on the, like Ernst and Young is on the, or Deloitte is on the advisory board of IUBH. You can see it on their website as well. Lufthansa is on their advisory board. So they are very well connected, closely connected with them. So here I'll run through it. How to apply? You simply just need to go here, moksh16.com, as you must have seen on every page. Just click on MBA, you'll find Germany, and you'll find here apply now. The moment you apply, it's a simple 4-step application format. It's completely online. You don't need to visit anywhere, and it's done. We basically take care of everything, but we will not be charging you anything except for the application fees and the travel part. Travel package will definitely cost you, like air tickets or visas or those parts, landing arrangements. We don't charge for counseling and guidance or application systems or admissions or nothing. It's purely directly with the IUBH. Here you are, all of you. I would request everybody to actually use this opportunity to ask as many questions as you wish, and talk to Dominic. Mr. Dominic, now you can, I mean, by the time people start asking me questions, you can say something about IUBH.
Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, people will start asking me questions. So before that, if you can talk as much whatever you wish to speak about IUBH or Germany, how attractive it could be, and in the meantime, people ask me questions, I'll just pose it to you.
All right, okay. As I've joined a bit later today, I'm not quite sure what has been said so far, so I'm just going to start at the beginning and briefly explain IUBH to you, if that is okay. IUBH is a private university in Germany founded in 1998. It is one of the best private universities in Germany, and that is due to its practical orientation. While most German universities are quite theoretical, IUBH is practically orientated, so you're not just learning the theoretical skills that you might need later on, but you're also going to test those skills in order to actually know what you're doing. So that's where we got quite a high reputation from. For the MBA, we are doing specific projects with our students in order to prepare them for the job later on. IUBA, when you're coming to Germany, you also get a stay back option. So after you finished your studies, you get to stay in Germany for another year and a half. In that time, you are supposed to find a job that suits your field. So when you've done engineering first and you did our MBA, you find a management position in an engineering company. And after you found that in your 1.5 year stay back option, you get to stay in Germany with a work permit. So studying at IUBH actually allows you to stay in Germany for quite a long time, because after that work permit, you've been working for 3 years, you might get a blue card. A blue card allows you to basically work in the whole Schengen region. You would still need to apply to come to the specific country you want to go, but it's quite easy with that blue card you get when you've been working in Germany for quite a while. So it basically opens Europe for you. Sorry, I got a cold. That's why my voice is a bit sad.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions so far?
No, the questions is there's the general standard question is, how many people can actually, what is the employment scenario in Germany at the moment? How much risk can an Indian student take of coming down to Germany? And second question is, how much important would it be for an Indian student to learn German language if he is learning MBA at IUBH?
The employment scenario in Germany is great for international students at the moment, because the birth rates in Germany keep dropping. So we are losing 2% of our workforce every single year. So there are quite a few empty positions in quite a few big companies. So we're constantly looking for skilled professionals, which is really good for international students. So it should be quite possible to find a job after the MBA. It usually takes 3 months for our students to find a really good paid job after they've graduated. We did a survey once. Our students have a good 4 job offers after they finish their studies, so I'm quite sure it's not a high risk. Second, learning German. As your studies are in English, you would not need to learn German to study at IUBH, but later on for your employment it is quite important that you are able to communicate in German, because even though most of our companies in our corporate network are international companies, they still require their employers to speak German when they are working in Germany, as it's a country they are located in. But we do offer free German classes for international students. So as soon as you started your studies, you're able to learn German for free.
Okay. There is one question I'd like to from Akhilesh Krishnan. My son has 5 years experience in an automobile industry in sales and marketing, and he is a B.Tech. I'm in the engineering. He has completed engineering in India in automobile engineering and wants to do MBA. Could you please advise the job prospects for him? I mean, then he could be thinking of, better prospects on that basis.
Oh, there's quite a variety of things he could do, as he has done sales and marketing before, which is a really good foundation for his future career. The MBA could easily offer him quite a few good management positions, but it's hard to say what kind of job opportunities you would get after finishing your studies, as the work market in Germany constantly changes, so it's hard to predict what type of offers would be available in 2 years' time. But there would be quite a variety. I'm quite sure it would be possible for him to find a good job.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thanks, Dominic. This, Mr. Akhilesh, you can also ask further questions if you have one. But I'll be moving on to the next one. We have Mr. Shanmukha Rao. He's asking similar question. Would it be mandatory for me to learn German language? As I told
It
you,
wouldn't
that's
be
a common
mandatory
question.
for,
Yeah.
it's quite common, I can tell. It's not mandatory for your studies, as your studies are completely in English. We got 96 nations on campus, so we basically got half of the nations on Earth represented on campus. So you would be speaking English on campus. But the thing is, when you want to work in Germany later on, it would be quite important to speak some German in order to be able to communicate with your colleagues. So for your studies it's not mandatory, but to work in Germany it's quite important.
Okay. There's one question from Mr. Shadab. He has 2 years of experience in India's largest IT company. Okay. I'm not naming what
Okay.
he has written. And he's looking for an MBA. He's looking at various options, Mr. Dominic, and he says, what could be the advantage if I do my MBA in Germany instead of, let's say, any other options abroad?
In Germany, the first really big advantage is the given Stayback option. I have mentioned that one before.
Yeah.
So when you're doing your MBA in UK or US, you finish your studies and the UK and the US just sends you back to India. You're gone. You're away. You do your studies in Germany and finish your studies at IUBH, and then you get your stayback option, so you can actually stay in the country and get some work experience in the country where you've studied. So that is quite a big advantage for studying in Germany compared to UK and US. And quite a bit advantage for IUBH students is the small classes and the practical orientation of the professors we've got. So you have a maximum of 30 students per class, so the professor is capable of actually getting to know his students, getting to know their weaknesses and their strengths, so they can individually monitor you at IUBH and individually focus on your strengths and weaknesses. So we are capable of developing you quite a bit more individual than other universities might do it for you.
Okay.
So I think the stayback option and that individual monitoring would be the biggest advantages you get at IUBH, next to the practical orientation, which I've mentioned before.
Fantastic. I think he actually meant for the IT field, as I told you, he's a IT guy.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
For the IT field, it depends on what you've done before. You could have, when you've just studied IT, so when you're a really good web developer and doing like IT support, an MBA would be really good for you because it's managerial perspectives to your career. So when you're a programmer now or an app developer, you could climb up the career ladder doing an MBA because that way you actually get into managerial tasks. So it opens completely new job opportunities for you.
Okay.
And
And
the IT field is a growing field, so it's a good step to do.
yeah. I have one more, Mr. Gaurav Gupta. He says about, he is slightly, I think, is this 100% placement opportunity? Can you say that with confidence? That if I come there, if I study there, I do exactly, everything perfectly like a German. Do you really think as an international student that enough of a employment opportunity? That's a very common worry part, that everybody has.
Hmm.
But I would like to address it over here that today, if you go to Canada, the average job time in a respectable job, I'm not saying the odd jobs, okay, is almost 9 months, okay. Here we are talking about something which is a solid MBA in comparison with the vocational kind of programs which are conducted in Canada. You of course have MBA in Canada, but I'm saying the Canadian market is more towards vocational studies, and still the flow of Indians is highest in Canada, as everybody knows, after US, of course. So let's understand that 100% guarantee no one, even IIM in India, doesn't give. But you just simply apply your logic. If the population is dropping by 2% every year, you can imagine the demand and supply gap, which will, if you're a good student and you made the basic requirements done, you shouldn't have any problem, Gaurav. Okay. I have one more question for you, Dominic. This is, what is the percent of graduates from IUBH who got jobs from last semester batch? This is Oduri VS Krishnamurthy from India.
So you're asking how many of our graduates find a job right after graduation, is that right?
Yes. How many? I will read it again for you. What is the percentage
All
of
right.
graduates from IUBH who got jobs from the last semester batch? So how many you could, what was your success ratio last semester?
Ah, all right, I see. Okay. We did an alumni survey to exactly find this one out. It's a good 80% who found a job after the first 3 months, so most of our students. The next ones found a job in the next 3 to 4 months, so it's most of our students were covered twice as fast as a public university student in Germany. And we also looked at their managerial tasks. Most of our students found a job in the managerial environment, like team manager or something like that, within 2 years after they studied. So they started as an employee and got promoted into management after under 2 years, which is really, really fast.
Wow.
So I'd say our success rate is quite high. We also looked at the salary after 5 years. So most of our students doubled their salary after, I think it's 3 years. They added 50% to their salary. And after 5 years, they've added another 20% to their salary. So you start off with a good 40,000 euros in Germany. You can imagine how much they're earning now.
Mm. Yeah. One more question from the same person is, usually in UK, what happens is once the studies are completed, the companies, to give a job to the international students, they need to pay taxes to the government. So they prefer local. Okay,
Sorry, I
The
didn't.
UK companies prefer local people more than the international students because of the taxation purpose. Is that true for Germany as well?
For Germany, it's not. You are paying taxes in Germany, but there's no difference between the taxes you're paying as a German person or as an international person. So we do not have any difference between the taxation for people. So our companies choose depending on your skill level and not on your nationality.
Okay. Okay. Now here is a very interesting question, Mr. Dominic. This is from Gaurav Gupta. He wants to ask you. He is working in the family business. Okay. He is not working in a company which is, a corporate or something like that. It's a showroom manage. He is working as a showroom manager of an
Okay.
automobile product. Okay, farming product on the automobile segment. Will IUBH count this work experience for its admissions?
Um, well, if it's not considered an internship by your family company or a traineeship, but as full-time employment, we are always happy to consider it as work experience. The only two things it can't be is it can't be an internship and it can't be a traineeship. Other than that, the student is fine. So if he is working full-time in his family company, he's perfectly fine.
Okay. So I think Gaurav, you can be considered. That's what the simple answer is. This one is from Amit. He has done mechanical engineering, okay, and worked in IT industry as a business analyst for almost 13 years now. He now wishes to do MBA after 13 years of experience. So, he wants to ask you whether, he can come to IUBH, and secondly, more important, he already has a family now. So how does he manage that part? Is it possible for the family to come there, or what does happen?
That's a really good question. To the first part, he's got the experience and he has studied before, if I got that right, so he's perfectly fine to join IUBH if he fulfills the grade requirements. So he should do fine. Regarding the family, that is quite hard. Usually our students who have a family come to Germany alone, study and go back to India. They do not use the stay-back option, they just study in Germany and then they go back to India. Because it's quite hard to bring your family. You could ask for a residence permit or for a travel visa for your family, but that's always a bit harder. So what most students do is they come here, study, and then go back to their family.
Hmm. Okay. I hope, Amit, you're satisfied with the answer, or you can ask me again. There's one more uh, uh, interesting thing, interesting question. Can you throw us some light on international job opportunities post MBA in IUBH? If somebody doesn't want to work there in Germany but wants to be placed in outside Germany, do you
I got
see
a really
that
good
as?
example on that one. Um, only 70% of our alumni work in Germany or Europe. The rest of our alumni works all over the world. So it's definitely possible to not work in Germany afterwards. I got a really good example on this one. We got a student, his name was Daniel. He started as an intern for Kempinski in China, and that was 5 years ago. Then Kempinski, it's a hotel chain, took him as an employee, and now he's the director of Kempinski China. So he just started as an internship in a country of his choice, and now he just took that country for the company. So it always depends on where the student applies and what he wants to do. We got a career service department who's always happy to help our students to find the job in the country they're looking for. So our corporate network definitely allows the students to work in the country of their choice.
Wow. Now, there is one question which is actually on everyone's mind, but this one guy has asked me this. How many Indians are currently studying in IUBH, and how many have already passed out?
Um, well, we've got 1,600 students on campus, of which are a good 40% international students, and of those 40% international students, we got a good I think it's 90 to 100 Indian students at the moment. I don't have the exact numbers,
Okay.
but it's quite a few, so none of you would be alone. The amount of graduates is quite high too. We've just recently started the international business, so we've started I think it's 7 years ago, and since then we had India was our strongest market, so I'm not too sure how many Indians have graduated yet. I would need to do quite a bit of research on this one,
Yeah.
but it should be quite a few. Also, I'm guessing over 500 so far.
Yeah. This one is from Saurabh Kumar. It's an interesting question, actually. Personally, how much is the international value of MBA at IUBH would you put if he does it in Germany compared to MBA done in the US universities? maybe Ivy League, or maybe, this particular question, I will give half the answer and then Mr. Dominic can complete it. Saurabh, it's like, it's a very theoretical questions. Like, if you're getting in Harvard and Stanford, you are going to go there for sure because of the branding that is existing. But how many people actually get in? So let's work on a more practical approach, that in case you don't get into the Harvard or Stanford or, the top 15 Ivy Leagues, where are you going to take in? That's the question that you need to answer, first of all, to your own self, I mean to say. So in case you are comparing, I would request Mr. Dominic to go on that basis, that where would you put IUBH in comparison with any other non-Ivy League universities of US, in terms of how the companies would look at you, the prestige and the value. That's the words used by Saurabh. Okay, in equivalency for your programs, Dominic.
Sorry, I didn't quite get you. The connection wasn't too good.
Okay.
So you want me to
One.
compare IUBH to other universities like Stanford?
No, that's what the
Did
question
I get that right?
was.
Okay.
Yeah, the question was, how would you compare with Stanford and Harvard? Then I already explained half the question, that we shouldn't be doing that in reality, because if you're getting in Harvard, probably an Indian would go there in any case. So we should be comparing with the IUBH with all other non-Ivy Leagues which are present there. So if you can answer that question in terms of the employability, the prestige and the value of the degree if he does it from IUBH.
I got you now. The connection got better again. Okay.
Okay.
IBH has a really high reputation. It's amazing how high it is in the short time IBH exists. So we are number one in the CHE ranking for 2015. CHE is a quite popular ranking system used in Germany and also known over Europe. So we are the number one in that list. We got 5 FIBAA premium seals, which is the highest every university can get. So we are number one in this one too. And companies know about this, not just our corporate network, but also other companies. So when you are applying with IUBH MBA, they know the quality you came from. So I'd say the employability with an IUBH MBA is really high, also compared to other universities, because we've got those seals and we've got the reputation other universities don't have. So if you're not getting into Howard or Stanford, I definitely choose IUBH thanks to its reputation, which is also known in the corporate world.
Wow. Okay. One or two more questions. I think we are running out of time. There are many questions actually, Mr. Dominic, and I just want to tell everybody that we are going to send you the recorded version of this, and we are going to post this recorded version of this webinar as well. So anyone can go through that at their leisure time. But in the meantime, I can take two more questions before the time we run out of the time. What is the IELTS score band level in each section that IUBH expects? And the second question is, the experience is mandatory for doing MBA in Germany or even the freshers? This question is from Miss Rayala.
Regarding the IELTS score that is needed, you need to have at least an IELTS score, an academic IELTS score of 6.0. If you got a 6.0 from an IELTS which is not older than 2 years, so it needs to be quite a new IELTS, you're fine. If you've got an IELTS with 5.0 or 5.5, which is academic and not older than 2 years, we offer language classes for you. So we offer a language course which allows you to upgrade your IELTS score. After finishing that English class, you would need to do a new IELTS test. When you pass with 6.0 or better, you're in. If you've got an IELTS which is lower than 5, we can't accept you. Okay, and what was the second question again?
And the question by the same person is experience mandatory for IUBH?
Ah, yes. It is definitely necessary for the MBA programs, so you need to have the mandatory work experience of at least 2 years of full-time employment in a management-related field. It is not required for our other programs, so for the master or the bachelor programs you don't need to have work experience, it's just for the MBA.
Okay, so one can do masters if they don't have the experience, in short.
Exactly.
Yeah, there is one interesting question for you. I mean, they're just going on, but I just can't stop myself from asking you this one. On Webometrics, that is the ranking site, okay, for the universities, IUBH ranking is around 7,000. When it has already got many CHE seals and FIB AA accreditations. This is from Prakhar Bansal. Why IUBH has more ranking than 7,000?
Ah, alright, okay, I see. That too is a really good question. I see the students are very well prepared, that is nice. Well, you know that CHE ranking and the accreditation we got, these are German rankings, so our position in the German market is quite different. But as that list you looked at is for India or for the worldwide universities? I
It's
think
for
it's
the
worldwide.
worldwide. Webometrics would be for the
Exactly.
worldwide, yeah.
That way it's different because our reputation is really good in Europe and Germany, but we are not this well known um, outside of our borders. So the ranking is based on the experiences people have made here and the reputation university has, and that's exactly what we are working on. So we are trying to get, we need to be a little bit more famous abroad to get a better ranking because the more people know you, the better you get ranked. So that ranking is, it's a good ranking, but it doesn't say much about the quality. It says more about how now a university is outside of its network. So I'd say it's we got on that place 7,000 because we're just not that well known outside of Germany and Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, this one is a continuing question again from Mr. Akhilesh, which is asking that, suppose if somebody earns 40,000 euros, what would be the taxation that he needs to pay in Germany, and what is the living cost? I think living cost you can consider as around 10,000 euros per year, but about taxation, Mr. Dominic can, enlighten us.
Could you repeat that question? I didn't quite get you.
As you said, starting salary of around 40,000 euros. How much taxation do you expect the German government to charge?
That is different. The German taxation system works quite different. So we got different tax groups. When you are in group number 1, which is basically you're not married, so you're single, you don't have kids, for 40,000 euros you would get out with a good 26 to 27,000, depending on your insurance and if you've got a working car and stuff like that. If you're married and you got kids, you still get different gradings in that taxation system, so it's quite hard to say how much you would get afterwards. It depends on your personal situation,
Hmm.
but I'd say good 30 to 40% for a salary of 40,000 euros would be taxed.
Okay. And I think this is the last one that I'm taking now. Uh, this is from Saurabh Kumar again. Uh, okay. No. Which US university would you compare IUBH as in terms of the, when the student comes out, which US university? I mean, he is thinking to go to US or Germany. He is confused, it looks like, to
Hmm.
pursue his MBA. So where would you compare? Because I'll tell you, Dominic, in India, it is where there are enough of internet platforms or online platforms available, which talks a lot about US universities. So it's easy to get the feedbacks, reviews, and comparisons. But about German, there is a limited, availability on information about comparison about among German universities. Now, what Saurabh is asking is, which US corresponding university will you compare IUBH to?
Ah, that is quite hard because there's so many differences between the US and Germany. It starts off with the tuition fees. So the cheapest university in US is probably twice as expensive as the IUBH. So regarding the price, you can't really compare IUBH to the US. So we are definitely cheaper. Regarding the quality, there might be quite a few universities in the US that might be comparable. But to be honest, I've never made that comparison before because for me IUBH is the best choice you can get because the return of investment is so much higher than in the US. I never really compared IUBH to the US. So I can't really give you a university I would compare myself to.
Okay, I think Purushottam, I will answer this. Your last question is, should the prior mandatory experience in management field? It's actually for the masters, as Dominic already answered. It's not required, but if you wish to do 2-year full-time MBA, 2 years of experience would be required. That's it. There are many more questions, Dominic, but I think we need to wrap this up. Otherwise, this will go on and on. There are so many people already there. Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. So I must thank you, Dominic, for joining so early. I mean, we all woke you up early in the morning on a weekend. Yeah. I must thank you for doing
It's
so
fine.
for us. And I hope everybody got the kind of information that they wish to. And yeah, thank you, Saurabh. Thank you. Saurabh is telling thanks to you as well, Dominic. So let's hope to connect with more students more often, Dominic, and spread the word of what could be a better option for the Indian students. Yeah.
Okay, it was nice being here.
Yeah. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thanks all of you. So see you sometime. Okay. Bye bye.